Hi Skye, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing very, very good, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. It's been quite a long time. When was the last time I spoke to you?
Oh gosh.
Been
Yeah,
a very, 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 very long time.
yeah,
I used to play in a band with your sister Kurt, the Mercy
yeah.
Call. I can remember you coming to the front of the stage
Battle
and banging your
Stars.
head and dancing and yeah, so it was very cool. So tell us, how have you been? Like, tell us, we've all been affected by COVID. Tell us, how has it changed you, and what have you had to change in this sort of time?
Being a bit of a kind of non-conformist, I have been a little bit what would you say, naive to the whole COVID thing because I don't have television connected as such. I don't get the mainstream media, so I didn't know that the pandemic was happening until I was down at Aldi and my 1-year-old at the time was licking the floor at Aldi and everyone was looking at me funny. I went, what's going on? There was no toilet paper in Australia.
That's
Yeah,
that's probably
but yeah, I mean,
that's probably a good thing.
Yeah,
Seriously, I think that's a good thing because a lot of the media, when I come back to Australia during that time, was just all scare tactics. So
yeah.
it was scaring everybody. Like, what's happening? What's the real truth? Is it really happening? So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
I guess that was kind
the media and Facebook were dictating what our law system was kind of doing and making new laws on Facebook. I'm like, it's Facebook. It's not. That's not an official government sign. I'm sure.
yeah. Yeah, but for you, did you have to like stop your work, or how did you sort of adapt in this period, and having a family as well?
Well, it was hard in the way of isolating with not being able to see anybody, kind of thing. But was kind of I ended up in a situation with domestic violence. So at the end of, I was already being isolated. So by the time the pandemic came, I was already used to kind of being on my own a lot. It's me and Bob.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was just frustrating. I found it frustrating because it was here we had like a 96% recovery rate. So it was just kind of like flu was going around and everyone was going crazy about it and just being so nasty to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you, sorry, we were talking about surviving through that period, and you said that you have a family now. So what did you do in this period? And is it still okay in Australia now? Like, are they getting back to normal?
Yeah, it's I went to the Seen and Heard live music festival the other weekend, which was the first kind of outing of everyone, no one with face masks. It was so good to see people smiling and being able to see facial expressions. So I found that really daunting, not being able to see anyone's kind of face when you're used to kind of that walking down the street. But yeah, it's getting back to normal now here. But there was a lot of lockdowns where you were only able to see one person, or really funny rules that we had where you could go to a restaurant, you had to wear your mask except for if you were eating, then you could take the mask off, and then you weren't allowed to sing, but you're allowed to yell. Like, yeah, it was hard to follow.
I like the one where like I've had musicians come on before and say that they couldn't stand up and enjoy the music and sing the songs. They had to sit down and just listen. But across the road, they had 50,000 people at a rugby league game, watching the footy with no mask.
That was fine.
Doesn't make any sense. But I'm glad that for Australia that it's getting better, and hopefully it can get better. And like the travel bans stop as well, right? Like everyone can sort of start traveling now.
Yeah. Well, you weren't even able to get from kind of New South Wales to Queensland. There was people stuck with family on the other side of the border and weren't able to see them or anything. So that would have been harder than just the overseas traveling.
Yeah. So tell us for this year, give us like a quick review for what you've done so far this year, Skye.
This year, I've been kind of working my art practice up, and there's what have I done? It was the trying to think what was last year and what was this year. This year's I think I started with exhibition called Into the Mist, which was depictions of mental health, and that was a photography exhibition. And it did a kind of road show through like Townsville and
wow.
Newcastle, Queensland. Yeah, I think it's still going, or it might just be ending, but they keep finding new venues to take it to, which is good. The current exhibition that I'm doing online is the Butterfly Effect with the contemporary art curator, and that's another kind of one with other artists that are kind of speaking out for human rights and that type of thing. So that's exciting.
That's a cool band as well, by the way.
Pardon?
That's a cool band, by the way. Butterfly Effect.
Yeah.
Band. They rock. Just quietly. No, but that's congratulations. That's a great. Actually, to be honest, I actually didn't even know that you were doing this sort of art. So it's only been recently that I've found out, and it's like you've been put in like online, US websites. You've won a few awards as well. So tell us about how all this come about. Like, have you always been involved with art?
Yeah, well, I was back when in the early 2000s, whatnot. I was when I was fresh out of uni, because I did my degree in photography. I was teaching craft classes at just one of the local craft shops, doing that kind of 3 or 4 nights a week, and still doing the 9 to 5 job in admin and that type of thing as well. And I ended up taking everything kind of fell apart in 2016. I had to restart kind of life again, and I changed my medium. I went to painting, and just developed kind of my skill with that and where I wanted to go with it, and then found myself kind of wanting to have a voice for what I'd just kind of experienced, and that with domestic violence, and so I started trying to dedicate my practice to making my message.
Yeah, and are there particular themes that you have with the art? It's got here like the art side of the moon. That's a very interesting twist on the side.
yeah, just being Pink Word fan. And my son's name is Pax Moon, and I'm a Cancerian, so I'm governed by the moon. So it was just kind of, I don't know, popped in my head one day, and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, it's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, just kind of the other side of art, where it's not just all about pretty things. That's things are, it's the way art's a way of communicating different kind of world issues and things like that. Get people talking, get thinking.
And it says here you've also done like an online exhibition. How does that work? That's a little bit weird, isn't it? Like different
online now. Yeah, it's I mean, they're still doing exhibitions, face to face type of thing, but it's now a great way where you can actually work with internationally with other artists, and you don't have to necessarily send all of your artworks and pay massive amounts in postage type of thing to get them over to the States. It's all online, which it's opened up a whole new avenue, which I'm surprised we've never thought about before COVID.
Yeah, right. And it says here that you've won, is it 1 award or 2 awards? ATM Collector's Choice Awards?
Yeah, and I was
congratulations, that's an amazing achievement.
And I've just with the art curator gotten a I can't remember the name of it, but it's a award for activism as well, which I was pretty stoked about.
Very good. All right, so let's go back, way back. I like to find out some information. I sort of know your family a little bit, but you were born in Newcastle. Were you born in Newcastle, or were you born outside of Newcastle?
Tamworth.
You're born in Tamworth, right?
Yeah,
so how long did you live in Tamworth, and do you have memories of living there?
No, not at all. But we moved to Newcastle when I was 4.
Oh, right. Okay. So was there a bit of a change, like moving from Tamworth to Newcastle? I mean, big city compared to Newcastle. Was it tough finding friends, or tell
I
us
don't
about
know.
that?
I don't know. I don't remember a lot of my childhood, unfortunately. But I think Kurt, my sister, was 7 years older than me, so she would have been in primary school.
Yeah, I was in primary school. Yeah.
Yeah. And my brother was in
He was just going into
into
high
year 7
school.
or something. Yeah. So, and I hear from the stories of the challenges of making new friends, and Shane going surfing and proving that he was a cool kid and stuff. And
So, did you have like? I know that you have a close relationship with your sister. How has that developed over the years? Like, we're going to talk about domestic violence and a little bit later, but tell us about you and your relationship with your sister.
my sister, she's the best. She's sitting in front of me.
Okay.
No, with she's kind of like my my co-parent as well, with because being a single mum. I've got a 4-year-old. He's 4. He's a little very, very vibrant little boy. And so she's Honey Kurt now. It's not just Kurt, it's Honey Kurt.
Yeah.
But we've always been close, and we've had people try and get in between us, which sounds really strange, but when you experience certain things with past relationships, things like that, it's amazing what you'll encounter. But yeah, she's my everything.
Yeah. And growing up, like tell us about like in high school and primary school, growing up in Newcastle. I mean, to me, it was a great place to live. So tell us about living in Newcastle.
Oh, I just remember just always beach, catch a train from Cardiff into Newcastle, and yeah, just going to the beach all the time. And holidays were at the beach, and what else with the
and we've got the music as well. We had the music scene. You were right into music, right?
Yeah. Well, I used to follow Kurt around everywhere.
Go and watch the. But it was also like we'd have like big day outs and Soundwave and all those sort of festivals. So were you into those festivals as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, Homebake was the first one, and
right.
Yeah, I like the good old homegrown kind of feeling. It's there was this big day out in Soundwave, and what was the
Splendor in the Grass?
Splendor in the Grass, yeah. I never quite made it to Byron. I always wanted to go to Byron.
And have you done some traveling around Australia internationally?
Internationally, yes, but I haven't done a lot of traveling here. It's too expensive. I've been to Vietnam and South Africa, Thailand.
South Africa.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, that was it was for the Rugby World Cup. So I actually got to see Nelson Mandela in the flesh. And it was just after apartheid. So it was it was crazy over there, getting escorted with AK-47s just to the tour bus. But it was really daunting when you don't see guns in Australia like that. Yeah.
Wow, that's I've heard some really very hardcore stories about people going to South Africa. I think it's a good place to visit, but actually to live there, it's
it's pretty scary. Yeah.
And so tell us, when did you get involved with? You said you were studying photography, so has it always been a passion as a young kid, or when did you sort of start wanting to do this?
When I was a teenager, I got into kind of black and white darkroom photography, and so as soon as I left, after I did my HSC, I went to TAFE and did black and white darkroom photography and fine arts, and then as soon as I finished my degree, everything went digital.
Oh, so how did you adapt to that? And are you still doing the darkroom sort of?
Yeah. I was still doing photographs, but not like I used to. I've resorted to the digital kind of style. I've still got my old prints that I'm wearing just in the Into the Mist exhibition. I'd like to build a darkroom here though. I've got the enlarger and everything, you know, all the stuff set up. I just need to make the little dark room. But I ended up teaching like paper crafts around like the scrapbooking around
Right.
so art around your photos. Yeah. So I did that for I don't know, about 12, 15 years or something like that.
Right.
I have no idea time wise. Yeah, a long time.
Right.
It was fun.
All right. All right. Well, let's talk about what we come here for. And so tell us about the whole experience of you getting married, finding your husband, and tell us about how this all happened, because you're a big advocate for domestic violence in Australia. So I want to talk about this situation.
Well, I mean, my ex-husband was a wonderful man. I cannot fault him. It was my experiences with domestic violence before that and after that that's kind of shaped my understanding and passion for wanting to bring awareness to it. It's just affects so many people. It doesn't just affect you; it affects your whole family. I mean, I had to start my life again from I had a house, a career, you know, big group of friends, and I ended up with selling my house and having to buy again and building up funds for that. That was fun as a single mum that wasn't working. It's amazing what you can achieve when you put your mind to it. But yeah, I don't have the same friends as I used to. It's life is completely different. There's nothing that's the same except for my sister, my mum, and my dad.
How is it? How did it affect your family?
It was mostly a lot of coercive control. So our family was constantly in a state of confusion because we were being lied to all the time. There was what was said to one person was said differently to another, and kind of I would never believe anyone if they'd told me what I went through, kind of thing, if I hadn't have gone through it myself, because it just seemed like something out of a, you know, really twisted type B horror movie or something.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, people were like, I'm wanting to sabotage you, and yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky. I had support there with my family. There's so many women out there that don't have that. Their family's been estranged from them. They don't have the financial means to be able to get away and get out of the violent situation. We've got in Australia at the moment, there is a woman every week, and that is increasing, that's murdered from a former partner or current partner.
That's awful. That's absolutely awful. And it's very, very difficult. But how does it all start? Because it's got to start. There's got to be a happy time somewhere in this sort of place, right? So where does it all sort of change? Tell.
From my understanding of what a lot of people go through is that the stage they call love bombing, where you're everything's perfect, you know, in that kind of first year. And it's, you know, not really until about 2 years that you really get to know someone and their true colours kind of start coming out in any kind of situation, really. But it's the control thing. Once you're committed to something, and that's when the mind games start kind of happening or whatnot, or the pushing and the shoving and the intimidation and that exerting the control over the situation.
And tell us about like the help around you. I mean, obviously you've got your family that's going to be helping you, but family can only do so much. So what about where can women go to get help? Like, tell us your experiences, like with the police and with court. And tell us about that.
there's a lot of really dedicated individuals out there that are wanting to make a change, but the system is so flawed that everything works against each other. It doesn't work with each other, and there's not enough education of what, because domestic violence is so much bigger than just, you know, not saying just, but the physical violence. There's, you know, financial control. There's, you know, that control with gaslighting, where you completely, you question your whole reality. Nothing makes sense. You think that you're crazy. It starts, you know, you getting told one thing when you're like, no, that's not real. This is real. And it's that constant state of confusion that, you know, and your children are watching you go through that, and your children are getting brought into that. And that's the scary part, as well as that psychological damage that can happen when a child is so young. You know, there's developmental kind of things that, you know, sometimes we like to ignore happening or whatnot, but they can change a child's, you know, complete future of what their actual understanding of relationships and life is going to be like.
Yes, yeah. They sort of see that and go, oh, whoa, if it's happening now, like, why don't mimic that?
Normalizing, and you know, that behavior then becomes normal. They'll either accept it, or they'll actually think it's okay to, that's how you react to things, that emotional kind of regulation or whatnot doesn't exist. And I mean, there was just last week here in Australia, just around the kind of corner, a 22-year-old woman that was murdered with her 3-year-old son was witness to it. And it's just tragic, absolutely tragic. And there was all this, you know, he had an AVO against him. He'd been in to jail and let out early. There were all these warning signs that there should have been someone protecting this girl, and there wasn't. I mean, an AVO ideally is a good starting point, but it's a bit of paper. It doesn't actually stop someone physically from going somewhere. They can get rid, but then that's just a day in court, you know. It's there's not tough enough penalties, or there needs to, I mean, seems that police can spend hours and hours of their time booking people for speeding, but they can't sit in front of a young 22-year-old girl's house to make sure that no one's turning up there that shouldn't be there. And that doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense at all. As some common sense is sometimes a useful thing. So what are you doing like to sort of help this? I mean, you're saying you're advocate, the artist sort of like,
I'm trying to use my art to bring kind of awareness to it, because I figure if I can get more community educated about it, the more people are going to be wanting to kind of help each other and get in there with services and things like that. We all need to join together. Like the justice system doesn't work with the police, and the police then don't work with the you know, groups that are advocating, and they try to, but there's just so much different, you know, legislation of different ways of dealing with things that it just doesn't match up. You get told one thing from one area and another thing from another, and it's impossible to kind of get to a point where you actually, there's a strict, you know, right or wrong. It's always this confusion because there's not enough people educated about what signs to kind of look for. Like, you know, people can nitpick, you know, text messages to each other or phone calls to each other or things like that. But when you look at the broader scope, you've got someone's either in fear and someone's not. Someone's changing their life, someone's not. It's those bigger kind of things that are going to be those telltales that we don't seem to be paying a lot of attention to.
Why do we sort of just trying to ignore it? Why do you think that? I mean, it's just crazy.
I think people are just so busy and caught up in, everyone's got their own stresses and things like that. It's really hard to step out of that and, you know, be there for someone else and understand what they're going through or whatnot, because everyone's going through something, you know, especially with the pandemic, and then we've had the floods and that here as well. And I mean, before that, there's always something that's going on. You know, it's hard to bring people together. That's why I was hoping with something like Community Project might bring people together with what I've called the Lonely Chairs. Each chair is painted differently in a unique kind of artwork, and I'm going to exhibition those and then do a workshop for women that are trying to escape domestic violence where they can paint their own chair, and then on a social media site, they'll be able to pop their picture of their chair and then their story. So it brings more awareness to what each individual goes through, but they can do it in a safe way where they're not actually putting their picture and their name to it as such. It's their artwork.
That's amazing, Skye. That's really cool. I love how you're sort of getting behind that and helping. You're getting more people coming out.
I haven't launched the workshop yet. It's all this is all in the making. I'm trying to get some funding for.
Right.
But it's I've made I think I've got about 20 chairs now that I've got happening, and I've had a pitch with the Awesome Foundation in our local council, and been asked to go back and talk to them about it. So that's a really good thing. If I can get council involved, that'll be good. And yeah, it's all still in the works, but it's about to kind of start launching it very soon once I just get that exhibition space, which I might just do at my own house if I don't find something soon.
And tell us on a good side for you, like obviously you've been through some tough times, but where are you now? Tell us about that.
To be honest, still going through a bit of a tough time. It seems to never end how people have access to things, but other than that, though, great, really good.
That's...
I've got got a beautiful a house, little sanctuary on block with just bush and gardens around everywhere. I'm right next to the lake.
Nice.
And my little boy is beautiful. He's happy.
And how old is he now?
He's 4.
4. Wow.
Yeah.
Goes so fast.
Yeah, he's into all the rock music and that as well. He calls like the White Stripes called the Red Band because of Peps being red. Yeah. And, they have different names for things, but he doesn't really know much about the Wiggles or whatnot as such. So it hasn't driven me crazy yet. So it's great.
Yeah. And for you, what was it like being a mum? I mean, it's such everybody sort of, you don't know what it's like until you actually have a kid. So for you, what's it being like being a mother?
I feel connected to the world again.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I can't describe kind of anything else that's like it. Just that unconditional love is it's really beautiful. It makes you look at your own parents differently again, and it's everything you experience with them. Like at the moment, we've got a thing with catching bugs and learning about what happens when you squish a bug, or different things, and seeing him get upset and then get happy about when they the snail starts moving, or just the real simple things in life that we forget, that are probably more important than the other stuff.
Yeah, the simple things in life, and it just hopefully it just lets all things go away, like bring all positive sort of things into your life. That's really, really cool. So tell us, what is the future? What does the future hold for Skye?
I'm just going to keep doing the art thing, music thing. I play bass now.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I couldn't master guitar, so. I would like to eventually open a kind of a community gallery where other artists can join in on the human rights type thing and get more people talking and more things happening, and start a bit of
like an open mic night sort of.
Yeah, for artists, I guess. Yeah, but just
that's really cool.
Yeah, there's actually a space that's just down that's just like a little abandoned kind of old tennis building or something like that I want to see who owns and try and commandeer that so that it's a gallery for local artists.
That's really cool. So you've got the music, you've got the artwork, and trying to help with the domestic violence and the kids. And for you personally, what are your sort of goals for the future?
Just to be happy, be a good mum. Need to be a good mum. So that's swimming lessons and and soccer cars and mumming.
And your social medias, where can we find your artwork, and what are your social medias?
I've got the Facebook, the Skye Elizabeth Design Art Side of the Moon, and I've also got a Wix site, which is I think it's Skye Elizabeth James is that one that it's under. And I'm on Blue Thumb, which is a just a almost like an Etsy for visual artists. And yeah, just when the exhibitions pop up and everything, they're all on Facebook. You can just follow the link.
Awesome. What would you say to someone that wants to be like an artist like you? What would you say to them, you know, and they're an inspiring artist that wants to sort of do what you're doing? What would you say to them?
Find out your purpose, your reason. Why are you doing art? There has to be a reason. Once you find that, nothing will kind of stop you. You'll just keep finding things pop up that that lead you in the right direction of where you're needed. And I mean, it can be the simplest thing as you know, that you like flowers and want to show everyone how much you like flowers. Or it can be, you know, something about you know, domestic violence or world issues. It's just your own personal experience with your world and your art that will make you stand out from other people. And
you know, it's with domestic violence as well. What do you say? Are there avenues? What if they're scared? What are you gonna, you know, what's your advice? What's your advice to someone that's in this sort of situation that we've been talking about?
Definitely, if you can get the support from your family or whatnot, go to them first. Then you've got a lot of groups out there, like Vocal is one that we have here in Newcastle. And you've got the police that'll give you a lot of different groups and that you can contact for support. But next best thing is to build resilience. It's not an easy road out. Don't expect it to be, but it's much better.
Yes. There's a lot, and I just think that talking to people, I mean, and seeing like mental health as a whole, like we're going into lockdown tomorrow for 5 days, and it's tough. Like being in the confined space, and you know, you just want to work. You want to work. You want to be out there. You want to be able to live a normal life. So I can understand, but definitely talk to people. You know, just call them up, just say hello. Yeah. And
that the good old you know, thing of the art of distraction. You know, these things, find things to do. Yeah. You know, colour in. You know, sing a song, do some gardening, you know, roll in dirt, whatever tickles your fancy, but just keep your mind from getting too far into your own mind.
And it's sort of like a good time to sort of rethink about what you want to do, and you can, you know, be very creative in this sort of time. That's what I try and do. Guitars over there, and the podcast. So yeah, there's lots of things to do. So, all right. Yeah. So to finish off, I ask, you know, your top 2 or 3 favorite things as of today. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Give me your top 2 or 3 all-time favorite bands as of today.
System of a Down, Korn, and the Beatles.
Okay. Your top 2 or 3 favorite albums of all time.
Abbey Road.
Ooh.
And actually Greensbeard's Guide to Better Living. And Led Zeppelin 2.
Oh, come on. Very nice. 3 places that you've been to, cities, and then 3 places that you'd like to go to in the future.
Hoi An.
Beautiful spot.
Khao Lak, I think the way you say it in Vietnam. In Thailand, sorry.
Thailand, right?
Yeah. And third one I've been to. Samoa.
And then 3 places that you'd like to go to in the future.
Sri Lanka.
Why?
it just looks very pretty and peaceful, and it's got a culture that I haven't experienced before in its
Yes. Very cool.
the Maldives in Mauritius, and I'd really like to go back to some more.
Very, very tropical.
Yeah, I'm going to Tasmania actually.
Tassie, come on.
Yeah.
Tell me your 3 top favorite movies of all time. Oh, you don't watch TV? What a silly question.
No, I watch movies.
Okay.
I don't watch commercials.
Okay. Okay. Your 3 top.
Oh, they'd have to be probably all Tarantino movies.
Mm.
Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, and the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, that's cool. Any up and coming artists besides yourself that we need to sort of look out for?
There's a girl named Melissa Ray, her name is, and oh gosh, no, I can't think of her name either. There's heaps of them.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Go to
good.
the Butterfly Effect exhibition and just click left and right of me, and there's those.
Right.
They're amazing. Everyone in the whole exhibition is, so I'm very honoured to actually be part of it. So I don't know how I got there.
Last question. Who is your greatest inspiration / hero and why?
Frida Kahlo. She's a Mexican artist. She managed to teach in Paris, even though she had never learnt art in Mexico. She was also disabled. She'd had a tram accident that paralysed her, and it didn't stop her from still doing everything she wanted to in life. And yeah, she had amazing strength and an amazing way of painting and depicting her experience through the world. Yeah.
Wow. That's a great way to finish off, I think, Skye. Thank you very much for your time. And
Thank you.
Good luck with your art, and let us know about the links, and I'll put them up on the website for you.
Excellent, legend. Thank you.
No
Hope
worries.
and treats you well.
And hopefully I'll be back in Australia very soon. As soon as I get a chance, I'll definitely come back. Yes, I will.
Yay. Awesome.